So starting our lives together by ourselves, way away from anybody we knew, really, was kind of a challenge because we had to get to know each other
We had just turned 20.
and really know each other for who we are.
Yeah.
You wanted to go to church, so I went to church. I was just a church goer at that point in time. I went just to go. We had an opportunity to go to a service for Grace Hill, and at that point in time is when I started to really feel the sermons.
And that all came in a time in our life where we needed it. We had established our life with our children 22 hours away from our families, and all of a sudden we were back home and we had to incorporate dozens of people now into our lives, and now we both had to work, and it was really hard on our marriage.
We went from being 100% stable in the Army. All medical was covered 100% for me and all my children and my wife, and it was no extra charge to me, really. And then now we're back home in the civilian world where you have to pay for everything. And I worked construction, and so when it was too cold or it rained, I missed work, and
We miss money.
we started missing bills, and we started fighting more and more, and I had a really bad anger problem. I really struggled so hard not to physically harm anybody, to the point where I didn't, but I was putting forth so much effort to not do that I couldn't put forward any effort to stop the other parts of it, the verbal parts, the anger itself. I was so focused on trying to control what was inside me, trying to come out, rather than fix it, because I just couldn't at that point in time.
Yeah, and we were at a point in our marriage where we had done everything we could do by ourselves, and I knew if we didn't go to therapy and see a counselor individually and together, that we didn't have a future.
That one day we were on our way to church and we were fighting, and I was trying to get you to stop because I didn't want to go into church with you crying and everybody seeing that we aren't perfect and wonderful. You know, Pastor Justin was there, and he saw us both and asked us what's wrong, what's going on.
Yeah, and that kind of kick-started everything. Counseling became an option, and it wasn't even just that. He handed it to us and said, "Here it is, let's do it." And we just said, okay. And so we got a phone number for a counselor, and Stephen was going to call and make an appointment. That's kind of when we ran into our next.
Yeah, I reached out, and I was happy, excited. I was finally going to get help. I was going to have a great relationship with my children and my wife, and family life was just going to be better. And then I got no response. I just felt shut down, abandoned.
So you gave up.
And I did. I gave up. I wasn't sure, honestly, if this whole Christian thing was real or worth it.
That's when I think our biggest fight came, and it was over something so silly, and you blacked out.
I don't remember anything, but
I always knew if anything got physical, if you touched me, if you touched our kids, that would be it, and I'd file for divorce and we'd be gone. And it happened, and I didn't feel scared, I didn't feel in danger, and I didn't want to give up. And so I reached out to a friend from church And I called Pastor immediately, and he was there in 20 minutes. And that's when everything came out, where you opened up to him about the counseling and how you felt about it and how you felt about God now. And
before that, I was trying to figure out how can I get closer to God. Reading the Bible and praying, and I wanted to get closer to God, but I just didn't know how. And for a while, I just kept coming back to the thought, get baptized. And that's what I wanted to do until I hit my low point, and I actually told Pastor Justin that I didn't want to get baptized anymore. And he told me that I should do it, and explained to me why, and talked to me a bit about how what I'm feeling isn't what's real. And so I went through with it. Glad I did the baptism. It was a little unnerving thinking about doing it, because I don't like to be the center of attention. I don't like to go up in front of crowds. That's why I don't sing. She does. But I just got past all that, because it's not about that. It's about me and God and my connection with him. And doing that baptism, it just felt good. I finally got connected.
I agree. And then we went to counseling individually, we went to counseling together.
And use the tools that we learned
Yeah.
from me, from my anger management, and from our marriage counseling together.
Yeah.
We can pick and prod at each other's arguments and faults without it being so personal.
We've learned from the sermons, we're just holding each other accountable. And if we look at it that way, we're just trying to make each other better parents, better spouses, and better children of God. And when we found our common ground and the same goal, that we're not against each other, we're here to live our life together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we've always wanted, we just didn't know how.
Yeah.
And I think God really put us in the place that we needed to be in order to make our marriage work, because if it weren't for Grace Hill and for the family we have there, and for Pastor Justin, I can't promise that we wouldn't be divorced. Just let go.
Yes.
God will take over, and
You just trust. You just have to trust in God, in your faith.
and just know that nobody's here to judge you. We're all here to help. We're a family. And I think once we realized that church is a place where we can go, just let go and not have to have it all together, is when we really made everything work.
Yeah. My name is Steve.
And I'm Joey.
And this is where our story meets his.
I messed up.
My name is Steve.
And I'm Joey.
And this is where our story meets his.